Hello everyone, this is my Module 5 Understanding My Community. We're going to look at USD 383 in Manhattan High School. I would say the largest support comes with our academics at our high school. We have a variety of AP classes and MATC courses, Manhattan Technical College, a technical school here in Manhattan, and students can take uh, free or very affordable credit hour classes through them. I would say that our school also is very strong in athletics and school traditions. We try very actively to try and create community in our school and in the surrounding area. I would say that one of the challenges, though, is that some of our community and veteran teachers are a bit stuck in the past, and so some students would like to start some new traditions and push the envelope, but our community has kind of gotten in the way there. Another challenge that students face pretty regularly is that we have a very transient population. Lots of students moving mid-semester, halfway through the first semester, new to the district, and so establishing that community has been a challenge, but at the same time, that has kind of made students pretty gifted at welcoming new students. So that's a skill that a lot of them have, which brings with them the transient population and new students from all over the world, variety of lifestyles, many cultures and religions, economic statuses, and but then that also comes with the military and Kansas State University, kind of a hands-off community because we have three separate communities. Um, they interact, but not as much as they should. And I would say that everyone kind of wants change, but no one's really willing to invest into the change. Uh, Population characteristics. I would say that our population has a large range of education from high school graduates to PhD. We also have young families too, and this has been in magazines and on the internet, Manhattan being an ideal retirement community, so our age range is quite vast. We also have pretty even gender-wise, and like I said, military, university, and then we have like our city and town population, and then a large rural population as well. So it creates a lot of diversity, which has some challenges, but we tend to address them and have those conversations. Ways that we communicate, I would say that the largest ways that we communicate are through our school website and Infinite Campus by sending emails. That's how our principal emails out to parents and students. Our district principals um, have a very strong social media presence, whether that be Facebook or Twitter. Our community has a newspaper, The Mercury, and our school has the Mentor newspaper, and both of those do a pretty good job of spreading news. And I would say that, or something cool is that the Mentor actually is included in the Manhattan's Mercury newspaper sent out in the community. And then also the school board meetings are well attended and the notes are shared publicly. We have lots of foreign language. We only offer a few classes as far as German, French, and Spanish, but when it comes to ESL classes, we have a lot of certified people helping transition students, whether that be military or through the university, transition into our school. And I would say that the largest way that people get information is through email or social media. Our community groups are quite large and supportive. I would say that the special interest groups at our high school, students kind of have to actively try to not be involved with the amount of community that's offered at our school, whether that be music related, wind, ensemble, band, string. We have musicals and plays. We have a variety of sports. We have many clubs and activities, so students can really make a footprint at our high school. When it comes to academics, our school and school board kind of call the shots there. We also have Optimus Rotary, Kiwanis, and American Legion. We have several churches that are involved. Young Life is pretty strong in our school. We have the military and the university that help and support at our school, and we also have just active members in our community that help talk with the counselors, provide job shadowing, and that kind of comes through the military and university. But we have businesses that are active as well. We also have an SRO in our building as far as security, and we have the Riley County Police Department, RCPD, checking and walkthroughs and lockdown drills that they do quite often. And then as far as sports and activities, the Booster Club is who you interact with, and we don't really have many problem organizations that interfere too much. The school board, district administration, and school administration, and kind of in that order, the school board and district administration communicating as to what they would like to see done and passed along to the school administration, and then that influences students, teachers, and then the school community. I would say the school board and administration listen to the teachers about 50% of the time. It's about a 50-50 on input. I would say students, they don't really get much input at all unless it's backed by their parents. Students and parents get quite a bit of input when it comes to what's being discussed in our school. So I would say 50-50 on teacher input. A leader in our community would first of all, I think would be socially aware, understand the community to which he or she is working in, being able to take criticism, open to opinions, and then be able to, whatever it is that they want to push along, be able to devote their energy to making sure that it happens and to provide the action needed to make it come true, and then also just provide voice to the community and reason in helping support what's being passed along. And then I think this one's often looked over, and that is being able to see situations from a student perspective and just understand the day-to-day life that they're in, and then obviously to be extremely hardworking and to have community in mind when you're making decisions. Manhattan's growing, and we just recently passed a bond to build another elementary school because our elementary schools have to meet in trailers outside of our elementary schools, and so we don't have room for the young students. So our population is growing drastically. We have the National Bio and Agro Defense Facility that's being built currently. It's going to open in a few years. K-State's constantly growing and building new buildings, and then the military is growing as well. So our community is just growing and growing, and that's just increasing all the property values and taxes, and which helps our school community. I would say that politics need to stay out of the classroom, but not out of the district. We vote for our school board, we vote for bonds, we vote for frameworks and standards, we vote for people who create the frameworks and standards. So politics need to be in the district, but we kind of need to, as teachers, keep it out of the classroom, unless obviously you're teaching it. Social tension, I would say that we occasionally have some tension between student groups, and we have various religions represented, and so that conversation kind of tends to need to continue to happen. And we also have the club LGBTQ community and their voices, and what the use of bathrooms, and so that conversation has happened with our students, and so as long as there was some leadership and conversation, we were able to not have that tension. Extra resources of information. You can look at school records. We send out questionnaires to students about drugs and alcohol and student involvement and voting on mascot stuff. And we have FastBridge, which kind of measures social and emotional screening for students. We have minutes from the school board and resources from social media, our school website, and Booster Club. I would say that parents and students hold quite a bit of power when it comes to getting their voices heard and getting what they want. And then I would say next would be the school board and the community. They work well together to have a conversation with our school, whether that is wanted or not. And then the Booster Club, if it's an activity or sports related, is who you need support from. We are very culturally diverse. We have several religions represented in our school. We have students who wear hijabs. And so that conversation happens quite often in our school community. We have safe zone teachers. These are just teachers willing and able to help counsel students and point them in the right direction if they are struggling with anxiety or just need someone to talk to. We have a variety of options for students, ESL students. I would say that our dress code needs to be a little bit more appropriate, but I would say that it is very culturally sensitive when students have to wear particular articles of clothing. I would say that the power structure, like we talked earlier, starts superintendent, district office, school board members, administration, and committees. We like to form a lot of committees at Manhattan High School. I would say too many committees. But we have a lot of committees, and then parents and students, and then kind of the teachers at the very end, and then kind of fluctuates between veteran teachers and new teachers. Our school does not seek out public opinion as well as it should. I would say that that community needs to be fostered a little bit. There's a lot of opportunities for us to get involved with the military and with Fort Riley and Kansas State University, and I think the time and energy it takes to do so kind of deters teachers and administrations from following through with that. But I would say that there are ways for public voices to be heard, whether that be school board meetings that people attend, social media, newspaper. We also have many public forums. Our administration will open up to the community our theater, and people can come in and talk and state what they feel is appropriate. And our school does a pretty good job of listening to that. Again, when those forums happen, or when we're just going to have student-led conferences this week, when those types of events happen, there are usually anonymous surveys sent out through email, and parents in the community can take those. Voting for school board members or bonds, that's another way that public can give their opinion. And then I would just say the attendance to theater productions and sporting events and activities opened up to the community kind of gauge how well the public invests into our community. I would say that the involvement in the community, of the community in the school and vice versa, our school into the community, needs to kind of be improved. We need to do a better job of getting out into the community, and we need to do a better job of opening our doors to allow the community come in and speak with the advantages that they offer to our students. So that's USD 83, and I appreciate listening.